Guess what? We have a fantastic show here for you today.
Really good show.
There he goes. By the way, this is the Real Estate 360 show. This is not a entertainment show. Well, although we try to get some entertainment in here best we can.
You're pretty entertaining, Steve.
Oh, yeah, you are too. So what are we talking about today?
You know what? I think that we should do some...
By the way, who are you?
I am glad you asked.
Yes.
My name is Jason O'Miles. I am the real estate trainer.
Yes, sir.
And you are unemployable.
Steve Conley, by the way.
I love it.
Hey, I was meeting somebody the other day, and they were at some meeting of mine, and they said, "Yeah, I saw your show because we'd done a little networking. When I say networking, I don't mean networking. I mean marketing, email. So I didn't know this person, but so anyway, we ended up at a networking meeting, and she said, "Yeah, I was watching your show, and I saw your hashtag unemployable." She said, "I want that."
That's right. That's right. That's pretty sharp, though. I mean, it's a true story, though.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta love it.
What are we talking about today?
You know, well, I think today we should talk a little bit about, the marketing basics, like marketing 101, as it was laid out by our good friends here.
Yes.
Because a lot of people just don't do those things. And there are some things that are a little tricky, which we don't have to really get into right now. We'll probably kind of breeze over, but there are the fundamentals of it that I think everyone should know and take full advantage of. And many, many people don't. And it goes, how do you find houses? How do you sell houses? How do you find buyers? How do you, just all of that great stuff. People want to know, how do you build a list of active buyers that large? And there are some things that we still use that a lot of people think are archaic, but it still works.
Really? We use archaic stuff? What?
I mean, as archaic as a thing can be in 5 or 6 years, you know what I mean?
Right.
But we're talking about technology here, so 6 months from now, we'll be living in a different technological world.
We've been around long enough to see the cycles
Yes.
in this real estate industry.
Yes.
And, that we can recognize them as they roll around, what's going to come next? Well, last time this happened, so maybe it's going to happen again, sort of like that,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me do a little housekeeping here real quick.
Okay.
So listen, guys, if you haven't checked us out on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, check out the Real Estate 360 show on any of those. Subscribe, comment, engage with us. Let us know what you like. We love it. We love the feedback. We love to be able to deliver the content that you want to hear as a listener. Engage with us. Let us know. Go to the realestate360show.com and see what events are coming up. See what we have to offer you. Just all kind of great stuff. So check us out there. We want to hear from you. We want to communicate with you. Love us like we love you. Okay? So back to it now.
That could be a memorable moment in broadcast production.
It could be. I love the people.
So we were sitting here just a moment ago, and our audio producer said, you guys started talking about bandit signs.
Yeah.
And he said, I really never noticed them so much until you started talking about them, and now he sees them everywhere.
Yeah.
And really what he has done is, now that he's become aware of them, his reticular activator has been awakened.
I love these phrases, man.
Everybody has one. You obviously have one. Oh, well, now we're talking to our producer.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's an interactive show. It's interactive.
But yes, everybody has a reticular activator, of course, because he said, hey, I didn't notice these, but now I do. So It's sort of like, hey, you go buy a yellow car. I mean, I don't know why anybody do that, but say you do that, and all of a sudden you look around, everybody has a yellow car. Not everybody, but you see them everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's really what a lot of the internet marketing is. It's like,
I mean, you did that. You bought a car.
Yeah.
And then I started seeing those cars everywhere. That last car you got?
Which one?
That Buick?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You bought that car.
Yeah.
And now they're everywhere.
Yeah.
You never notice them until you notice it, until you're conscious of it, I should say.
Can I tell you a little story about that?
I'd love to hear this story.
So I tell people that I got a new car, and I said, it's not a new car, it's a used car. And they said, really, what'd you get? And I say, a Buick. And they say, it's like their eyes start to glaze over,
They still make those?
That's right. And they say, well, what kind? I said, a Lucerne, a Buick Lucerne. It's like, I know I can actually hear them thinking, well, why would he buy a Buick? I mean, what's wrong with that guy? And by the way, I said, and this one is your grandfather's Buick.
That's right. That's right.
And they're like, what? I bought it just like I would buy a single family house. Mm-hmm. It's like 24,000 miles on a 2011.
Yeah.
And I paid about half what it's worth.
Right.
That's why I'm buying a Buick. But anyway,
a hustler is a hustler, man. I mean, houses, cars.
It's currency. It's all just currency.
Yeah.
So you switch an asset to cash or back and forth.
Yeah.
That's the whole game.
That's right. And if you see the opportunity there, because we have another friend of ours that does that, right?
Yeah.
Big Cody. Well,
both of them, Justin too,
Yeah, that's for sure. But, they do real estate, but they also are seeing opportunities everywhere they go.
Yeah.
So, if they can buy a boat or a jet ski or a car or a truck and, pick it up for this price and sell it in a week for, $2,000-$3,000, which is what they do.
Right.
Why not?
But how do they sell it? They probably do some marketing.
That's exactly right.
And that's what our show's about today is marketing and, how to get things moving.
Right. So let's talk about that from a beginner's perspective, because we get that a lot. We get a lot of people that say, well, how do I find buyers, to buy my properties, or how do I find properties? How do I market for this stuff? Right? Now, I tell people constantly how easy it is, and they either don't believe me or they say, well, you've been doing it for so long, it's just second nature to you. But
there's some truth to that.
Yeah, it is, but it really is that easy.
It really is.
All right. So back in the day, I was using Craigslist to build a list. We'd take a picture of a property, create a little ad, whatever, and put it out there, and people were calling. They'll call and say, hey, is that property still available? I write down their information, put them in our MailChimp account, and,
yes.
We got 40 or 50 active buyers every week from the ads that we ran. It's literally that easy. Now, there are other places that you can go. By the way, it's 2019, and I still use Craigslist.
It's 2019, and so do I.
A lot of people think that that's just dead. Why are you using that? It's no good. You're not going to find anything there. No one's going to come from it. Everybody on there is a scammer.
There's a lot. Now, let's get real.
There is.
But
there is.
When they start out with a certain phrase and maybe they're emailing you and their English isn't quite right, hey, that's a clue.
I mean, somebody, don't we all have a Nigerian cousin who was the daughter or son of a Nigerian king that needs our help?
Oh, I'm getting ready to get $20 million.
You know what I mean?
I got my paperwork in, and I paid a little fee,
now.
To get it, but I'm getting it. You just wait, and we'll be buying some houses.
That's right. They got to park that money somewhere, and your bank account is the perfect place. Just give them the information.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
But for what we do on Craigslist, it's we got a deal off of Craigslist a month ago.
Yeah.
Right. So we just put ads up there for people that want to sell a property or are having problems with a property, and we just refresh it and let the phone ring when it rings. Doesn't cost anything.
Yeah. We're back to, problem solving again.
Yeah.
And so really you're out there, I'm out there, we're both out there asking people, hey, what kind of problem do you have associated with real estate? We're not really in the business of solving their marital problems or their health problems. That's not our job.
Right.
So we want specific problems related to real estate that we can help them with.
But these marketing channels are what brings those problems to us, or those people with those issues to us.
Right.
And today, you know, we've got great places like Facebook Marketplace is a great place right now.
Yes.
You know, it's a fantastic place to find opportunities across the board. I mean, who'd have thunk that you could go there and buy 50 cases for your for your iPhone at one time? You know what I mean? It's amazing what you can buy on Facebook Marketplace. Bought a car.
Did you?
Got a really good deal on a car for my son. Facebook Marketplace.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How about that?
Had to do it. But I wasn't there looking for cars.
Oh.
I was there looking for houses. You know what I mean? So, but there's just so much there, and there's a lot of activity, and there's a lot of information sharing there.
In between, you know, real estate, you know, sometimes, you know, I stepped out of it, and I was selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
I was selling little used office equipment.
See?
You know, so.
Yeah, it's just a fantastic place. You know, there's so many, and we're talking about things that cost you nothing to market, okay?
Potentially.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to do it.
You know, the technology these days is amazing. I remember when I had 25,000 people on my fax database, you know, and we had to fax out 24. I had a computer that did nothing but fax.
Wow.
You know, it'd call everybody one at a time. They would ring their faxes and send them a flyer on a house that I had for sale.
Well, check this out. We're going to take a break so everyone can check their fax machine.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah. And then when we come back, we'll bring you back up.
Sounds like a plan, my man.
My man.
We'll buy your house. Click 833willbuy.com. That's 833WELLBUY.com.
Or call 833-WILL-BUY.
Se habla español. Llámanos. Call us today.
And welcome back. It's the Real Estate 360 show.
Steve, you are a hoot.
What?
You are a hoot. You make me laugh, man.
Yeah, you make me laugh too. And so we were talking about faxes, weren't we?
Yeah, faxes. So I don't think, they're still kind of relevant. I mean, we were talking here on the break about, when faxes are used currently, And,
yeah.
And there has to be some validity to all of that because they still make them. They still make all-in-ones and they still sell them and they're there. No one's going to the store to buy a Betamax machine anymore. You know what I mean?
This may come as a surprise to you, but there are people that still have landlines. As a matter of fact, there's a significant part of the population that still has landlines.
Yeah,
that's what they grew up with,
and I have to assume that's in the rural parts of the land.
I think it's all over. I think it might be more of an age demographic rather than a geographic demographic.
Ooh. I love your.
I
love how that rolled right off your tongue there.
That was challenging. Hey, but you don't have to do. I'm just going to let everybody know right now. You don't have to build a fax database.
No.
These days.
No.
The technology is such that, hey, you can do it automatically, and we use MailChimp because it was simple, cheap, and easy. Pretty much to jump into that,
yeah.
and it still is,
yeah.
And so we have a little tab on our website that you click on it, and you can add yourself to our database.
So that you can receive listings of anything that we have coming out, any specials, any changes, all that great stuff. But the whole thing is you'll be able to create a lot of that for yourself. I mean, the same way we did.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be MailChimp. There's a bunch of other services out there. They're free for, what is the first 500 people on the list or
typically.
something?
MailChimp's changed things up a little bit. I think it's actually free for the first 2,000 now.
Wow.
On MailChimp. But as soon as you jump over that, you add some other features, and now it's $50 a month.
Yeah.
So,
but even then, by the time you get to that point, you're turning some deals.
Absolutely.
You're turning deals. But again, I wanted to talk about yet another free way to take advantage of your marketing efforts, whether you're looking for buyers or sellers.
Okay.
Or if maybe you have a house to promote an opportunity to promote. Going back to Facebook, the Facebook groups, right? So a lot of people think, I start a Facebook page and then I just put stuff there and all my friends are going to see it.
Yeah.
Right? Now, first of all your friends aren't going to see it. And that has to do with algorithms from Facebook. Only some of your friends are going to see it, right? But your friends might not be buying real estate. You might not be from, the state that your friends are living in. And you might be in Atlanta and your friends might be in California. They don't really care, generally speaking, that you're selling a property in Atlanta, right?
Right. Not generally. Why do they care?
So you got to get involved in some of the real estate groups in the area that you're in on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? Every time you post into those groups, everyone in the group has an opportunity to see it.
Right.
Everyone in the group has an opportunity to see it. And some of those people are going to share that opportunity with other people. So that's a great way to sell the deals that you have.
Absolutely.
For free.
I'm kind of laughing a little bit.
I can see that.
The reason is, and I haven't talked to you about this because it was kind of weird. I had a dream last night. It was about Facebook.
Really?
Yeah, and it was actually about, Justin, the guy that we kind of brought on as part of our team.
Yeah.
And, he uses all the social media, and he brought like a dozen people to our last seminar.
Correct.
So I had a dream that Justin was on Facebook and I was on Facebook, and we were doing the Facebook Live, and it was like being able to announce to the world by almost like one-to-one video that we're going to talk about this and we're going to show you this. And it was quite profound.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, this is kind of what this is about.
Yeah.
And it's a great marketing tool.
It is fantastic. That Facebook Live is fantastic. YouTube also, Instagram also, if you just are willing to put yourself out there, because you got to let people know what you do.
And the reason this is significant, why I'm kind of laughing about it, is I've never used Facebook Live. I don't really do that.
Right.
So, and I'm having a dream about it.
That's because you have a team.
Clue?
It is because you have a team that does it, right?
Yeah.
We all don't do the greatest things in certain areas, right? Or even attempt to do those things.
I'm going to do it now. I mean,
it is pretty fun.
It's like a message.
It's pretty fun because you're connecting with people live.
Yeah.
Right. So we do these little events on Facebook all the time where we're people will ask questions and we'll say, okay, listen, one of the biggest ones we get is how can I make $100,000 a year in real estate? So I break it down. Here's what it takes. Here's how much it is a month. Here are options that you can utilize. Whether it's rental properties, fix and flips, wholesaling, whatever, right? And we go through what those things are. But, we set up these events and we let people know, hey, this is what we're doing. And we share it with our friends. We share it in those real estate groups.
Yeah. And
people come and they watch and they pay attention. And we say, and oh, by the way, if you want to hear more about this or learn more about this, go to www.realestate360show.com. Click the link. It's right here. We're telling them what it is. The link is in the description. They can go there and, if you want to hear more about it, come on to the next event.
Thank you for that information. And as you're talking, I'm thinking, we've mentioned several times about these forms and other ideas that we have available. I think what we're going to do, and I'm just talking about this again for the first time on, hey, let's put it out there. What the heck? Let's put all that stuff on a link on our website.
I think we should, because the reality of it is this, guys. We've got the information, we've got the experience to know how we're doing it. We're growing, we're learning every day in everything that we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why not just go ahead and share it? Can you go out and buy these things? You sure can. I know people that sell, like we talked about last week, the multifamily. A multifamily calculator, a couple $100.
Yeah.
Some people charge a lot more than that, right? But it's there, and if we can help people, why not?
Yeah, and then, you guys would probably bring it to us first, as a reciprocity.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way things happen.
Not a requirement.
Right? It's not a requirement, but that's how it is. I mean, hey, am I doing this right? Can you look at this for me?
Yeah.
This is the information that I got. Am I putting it in there properly, or how do I do it? You know, so yeah, we'll probably make a couple tutorials as well and say, hey, this is what this is. You know, just make it available for people because you're listening to the show because you want to know how to do this or how to do it better, right? And that's what we have to, I believe, offer our listeners and the people that are watching us right now on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You know, we were talking about real estate cycles and so forth, and you mentioned something earlier, hashtag the real estate trainer. You mentioned earlier, well, how do I get started and what do I do? And, you know, you just have to start.
Yeah.
Because we've seen the cycles. I've been in and out of real estate a little bit over the last 35 years. And I remember starting up again, you know, okay, first thing I need to do is, you know, do my marketing and do something to create a list. And I can remember, you know, I have one person on my list. And that's where it starts.
That's right.
And then a few, you know, days later, maybe there's 5 or 10 or 20 or something, and then you're off to the races.
That's right.
Just start.
Yep.
Go set the things up for free.
That's right.
Go get on Craigslist. Put the ads in. Go find a house. You know, your ads don't have to say, I have a house for sale if you don't have a house for sale.
That's right.
They don't have to say that. They can say, I'd like to buy a house.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can get on Craigslist and find people who have houses for sale.
Mm-hmm.
Joint venture with those guys.
That's right. And a lot of the thing we talked a lot about was, you know, how to get involved, make money in real estate while you're learning.
Yeah.
And that's by selling other people's properties and learning about the process, being involved in the process. Because that's where you're going to learn how to market anyway, right? You're going to take that property and you're going to put it on any one of those, you know, social media formats. Maybe you go to a local RIA meeting, you know, maybe you start a meeting, you know, you go to Eventbrite and you start looking up real estate meetup groups and you go and you start meeting people and connecting and communicating and learning and giving and receiving, all of that. Those are the things you have to do. Now, you don't have to do it every day if you've got a day job, but, you know, find something once a week, get out there and do it.
I think what you're saying is you don't have to know everything to get started.
Yeah, you don't have to know everything about a thing to do a thing.
Right. And once you start, because you may not know what you need to know until you get started. And then when you get started, it's going to come to you, oh, I need to know this and I need to know that and so forth.
That's right. I equate it to reading a book on how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
You can read that book and know it word for word, but you're not going to know how to ride a bike until you get on the bike, and all those little muscles have to start working together.
Right.
Right? You can memorize all the mechanics, but your body won't be able to memorize the mechanics until you actually physically do it. So just do it. You're always learning. All of this is constantly evolving. So stop trying to wait until you think you know everything before you can, because you'll never know it all.
And taking the action will help you get over the fear, which is the only thing that's holding you.
That's all right. Let's take a break.
Hi, this is Sammy with Sammy Hadid Real Estate Keller Williams. Are you looking for a top producing agent who will look out for your best interests, top dollar on the sale of your home, a well-negotiated contract, an efficient closing? Please call me at 305-978-4249. I'm more than happy to set up a consultation. I'll put together a proposal for you to net top dollar for your home, what it is that I'm doing to get all my homes sold. Then you can decide what's best for you. Again, I'll do whatever it takes to get your home sold for top dollar, and I promise you that I will protect your equity with my life. 305-978-4249. Sammy Hadid, Hadid.
All right, we are back. We are back. And Steve.
Yes.
You know, we're talking about all these ways that people can get involved, you know, marketing one-on-one, free, very, very affordable ways to do things that everyone has access to. And I really just want to know, like, in your mind, you know, from your experience in your life, you know, what can you share with us about a time in your life when it was, you know,
a story you'd like to hear?
Yeah.
Like one of my, okay, sure.
Yeah.
I have one. And it seems
you
like
have one, you say, huh?
Yeah, well, at least. Well, you know, a lot of times I'll just start looking online
Mm-hmm.
and start looking for houses and deals and stuff, and then start making connections, with realtors and other investors and so forth. I'm looking for the serendipity,
Mm-hmm.
the value in something. And guess what I do? I just start making offers.
Mm-hmm.
I say, oh, wow, there's good. We talked about in the last show, turning over the stones and trying to find the glitter, so that's all I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And so the last time was that I can think of, that is, I was online, and this realtor that I had come up with had said, hey, I've got this house. And I said, wow, that looks pretty good. I'll write an offer on it, And so I write these offers. I hadn't seen the house. And actually, this one, I never saw the house.
Yeah.
I saw the opportunity, I saw the location, and I saw the numbers, and I said, okay, I saw the pictures. So it looks like it's going to cost this amount, to fix it. I wrote the contract. They accepted it. I sent it out on some kind of marketing database. At that point, I didn't have much, but I had enough. I think I had some MailChimp stuff going on, and sold it in a few days and cleared, $7,000 or $8,000 on it. And so this is just, from experience. And how do you get the experience? You
got to do it.
You start out doing things, and this is all comparison.
Yeah.
And so this house was on Metropolitan Avenue on the Adair Park of Metropolitan, on the Adair Park side of Metropolitan. Of course, it was on that busy street. And it was pretty simple. It ended up that I had the contract from the seller. And this is about control. A lot of this is about control. Who has control of the property, whether it be by contract or by the deed?
Right.
So obviously I had the contract.
So someone has to have an equitable position in that to be able to
do what we're doing.
Right.
And so they have to have a real signed piece of paper that is a contract that says, yes, I have the right to purchase this property, purchase a sell contract. That property then, is now not a property anymore from our point of view. It's a contract. So now we have a piece of paper that has value. That piece of paper has to be assignable. Doesn't have to be, but you have the equitable title to the property.
An equitable claim.
An equitable claim, exactly. So now I have the option of, if I'm allowed to, or if there's no prohibitions in that contract, I can assign that to somebody else for value. I can establish a value. They can establish a value. If it works, we agree on that and do an assignment. Or I can just sell it and do a double closing on that. I can close it and then turn around and resell it immediately. And it turns out that I ended up doing a contract with another wholesaler who had a buyer in New Zealand. And it was a cash transaction. He wired his earnest money over, and then he said, yeah, I'll do the transaction, and he wired the rest and closed it out just like that.
Game over.
I did a double closing on that particular one.
And how did you find that deal? Just by creating relationships or developing relationships? Exactly.
It ended up came from a realtor who had somebody else in her office who was dealing with a bank who foreclosed properties. So it was actually a foreclosure that I sold to another investor.
Yeah.
And now this is something else. You have to be aware and sensitive of what's going on in the background. So in the background is a lender with REO properties. And in between that, me and that lender is a realtor, two realtors, a listing and a selling realtor.
Right.
That listing realtor has a relationship with the bank.
Or
now,
more specifically, the REO or the real estate owned department.
Exactly. Now, I'm aware of that. So I'm going to structure my transaction as a double closing.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because I want to protect her relationship with that REO lender.
Mm-hmm.
If they see a HUD statement with me in there assigning that contract for any amount of money, then all of a sudden, in their minds, that realtor hadn't done her job.
Right. And plus, they'll probably squash the deal.
They'll squash the deal, or that will kill the relationship with that realtor.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because I want her to bring me more stuff.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. That's right. And, you know, developing relationships doesn't cost any money.
Correct.
You know, nurturing that relationship realistically doesn't cost any money.
Except, I'm going to say this, except for on that 18 unit, it cost me over $100,000 to create that new relationship.
Yeah. And in what way did it cost you?
I could have sold it to somebody else.
Oh, okay. So it's the
I had a contract to sell that to somebody else.
Full price, if I remember.
Well, it was really close.
Yeah. Because that was like $750. That lady was paying $750.
$720.
$720.
She came in.
Yeah. That's
yes, sir.
You can hear the sighs over here.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Let's have a moment of silence.
Okay, that's
enough.
That's enough.
Let's get on
no
with
more
it.
reminiscing. But you know what? I too have a story.
Do you have a story? I'd love
and
to
it's
hear.
one that I know that you've heard, but I want to share it with the folks that are listening and watching if they're on YouTube. When I got started after the crash, when I had to rebuild my life, I didn't have any money. I was broke. You know, I just had the know-how and the desire to get back on my feet and using real estate as that, you know, financial foundation for me. I had $300 to my name. $300 to my name. I ordered, because at Home Depot, the bandit signs were like $8 or something like that, you know, and you still got to get the stakes. You got to get the staple hammer, you know, you got to do all this stuff. So I ordered just blank
corrugated signs with
blank
the metal
corrugated, the plastic
post.
corrugated signs, and I ordered, I believe it was 20 of them.
Okay.
Because I didn't have much, right?
That's $160 right there.
Oh, no, I didn't pay $8. You know, I ordered them online.
Oh, okay.
You know, in one of those sign companies. And I think I paid $4 for each one, which was really expensive because, you know, of course, the more you buy, the cheaper they are, right? But I think I paid, you know, four and change for them. Mm-hmm. And then I bought some stakes. Mm-hmm. But I bought them blank, right? And then I went to Home Depot and I bought the big, huge Magnum Sharpie with the yeah, that and the staple hammer. And you know, I was all in now for less than $100. You know, that was done. I just had to wait on them to come. But in the meantime, I printed out flyers from my home computer, you know, 4 to a sheet, cut them in quarters with my meat shears. I like to point that out.
Okay.
And I went door knocking. I identified a neighborhood where I knew that the prices were going up, and I went door knocking on doors. Found the ugly house. I call it the ugly house technique. And I went over there in the middle of the day, and I started to look at the ugly house. And then I just paid attention to who was watching me.
Yeah.
And then when I was done at the ugly house, I went over to the person that was watching me and said, hey, do you by chance know who owns this home? I'd like to talk to them about buying it. And that conversation leads into, have you ever thought about selling your house? You know, do you know anyone around here that wants to sell their house? And I just kept knocking on doors until literally found someone across the street 2 doors over who said, you know what? I went through a divorce with my husband. I want out of this house. I don't want to fix it. I don't want to clean it. I just want to pack my bags. And that's literally what she said.
Yeah.
So we made a deal that paid off her house, paid off her credit cards. She didn't have to dump all the stuff that was left in the house. You know, we took that on, but of course we had to put that or subtract that cost of that from that house.
Sure.
But it took me 3 weeks to find that deal.
Yep.
It took me 2 weeks to sell the deal.
Right.
I got $100 earnest money to put in, but I didn't put it in. I had 10 days.
Okay.
I had 10 days due diligence before my earnest money had to be delivered to the attorney, which was $100.
Yes, sir.
So I
And
used
you
that
actually
10
had
days.
$100.
I did. I still had $100. But I used that 10 days to market that property on social media outlets. I got a lady who said, I think 2 or 3 days in, I want that deal.
Why would she want that deal?
She wanted that deal because it was a super great deal. I got the property for $67,000. I sold it to her for, I believe it was $75,000 was what I was asking. It wound up being $74,000. She closed it in 10 days. $1,000 earnest money. So that earnest money went, I didn't have to come up with $100 anymore.
Right.
Her earnest money went to the attorney, which covered it all. Bless you, my brother. Bless you. Bless you. And
It happens.
10 days after she signed that contract, 2 weeks after I put the property under contract, I made, $6,800 or whatever, $900, whatever it was.
Right.
And I was back on deck. Now it's time to start spending money for marketing.
That's right.
But that was a no money down deal. It cost me, less than $100 to buy everything I needed to market.
Let's take a break, and we'll talk about personality.
Let's do it.
We'll buy your house. Click 833willbuy.com. That's 833WELLBUY.com.
Or call 833-WILL-BUY.
Se habla español, llámanos, call us today.
Welcome back, and it is the Real Estate 360 show. Hey, we were just talking about examples and stories of people and investors and houses, and I wanted to talk about really quick, just mention one thing about personalities. What you heard was, okay, Steve's sitting there behind a desk, writing contracts and looking at stuff online, never saw a house, didn't get out, of the office, really. I actually drove by that house because, after the whole transaction was said and done, about a month later, I said, oh, I wonder what that thing looks like, So I drove by and it looked like on the photos.
Yeah.
But I didn't have to see it because the investors went over and looked at it and they said, we like it.
Mm-hmm.
Now here is Jason O'Miles out there on the street, handing out flyers and talking to people and doing it that way. Now,
you said that in such a way that like it doesn't happen. He's on the street handing out flyers and he's talking to people. Can you believe it? It doesn't get any more archaic than that.
He doesn't have his head down in a cell phone. He's actually, head up and looking at folks in their eyeballs.
How dare you, Mr. Miles?
And doing deals and writing contracts and getting real estate under contract and selling it and making some money.
That's
and,
right.
That fits right into my favorite saying.
What's
is, you do a transaction and it takes you a certain amount of time to do it and you're done. And that's not a bad part-time job.
No, not at all.
When you make $8,000 on a transaction and you've worked on it for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Or 20 hours.
Yeah.
What's the return on your investment?
It's infinite.
It's infinite in terms of money, but you divide that by the hour.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty good. And, people are always trying to figure out how to become a millionaire. And here it is. If you want to become a millionaire, you have to make $500 an hour on a 2,000-hour work year, right?
Yeah.
It's a 40-hour work week. You got to make $500 an hour. So what do you got to do to make $500 an hour? This is literally what we're talking about.
Go to school, become an attorney, get 10 years, get a reputation.
But that's how you value yourself, right? You have to value yourself based on what you feel that you're worth. If you feel you're worth $40,000, you're probably never going to make more than $40,000.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And
you set the bar for yourself.
Whatever you decide is what you're going to make.
That's right.
And unfortunately, a lot of us have value and self-esteem issues, including myself, and I didn't know it.
Yeah.
I said, I can't go do that. I'm not worthy. And
Yeah.
that was the conversation that was in my head. I didn't really hear those words. But that's what it is.
It's a feeling.
Yeah.
And it can be a debilitating feeling. And I want to thank you for being brave and opening up to us and our listeners today.
With what?
It's a safe space, yes.
Yeah. How can
About
it be
your
safe?
vulnerabilities,
Yeah.
about being, because we all have them. And a lot of people just really honestly, all jokes aside, they do not want to admit that they have these thoughts and they have these feelings of instability, of fear. Can I do this? Am I worthy?
Right.
Should I be there? We all have it. I mean, every one of us, if we're honest with ourselves, no matter how good we are, we have these feelings. And the reality of that is it's those feelings that drive people to certain levels of perfection. I mean, do you honestly think people like Michael Jordan are he's what he is because he was always that confident? No.
Yes.
It's the fear.
He's
the fear
always
of
that
failure.
confident.
Because he has to be. Because it's the fear of failure.
It's
He can't.
perception.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
all it is.
It's all about perception.
He absolutely had to go through it just like everybody
That's
else.
right.
And he
That's
did.
right. Yeah.
That's the difference.
And we all do. So embrace it is really the point we're making here.
We've all heard the saying, you can be, do, or have anything.
Yeah.
Right? And I ask people that, do you really believe that you can be, do, or have anything?
Yeah.
And they all say, yeah. And then, I'll go on with a conversation and I'll say, well, hey, what about you and in this particular situation? And then I invariably hear, well, yeah, but.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, so that means you really only believe that other people can be, do, or have anything, not you. And then they start to think, oh, wait a minute. Hey, we can all be, do, or have anything we want.
Yeah, that's for sure. And it's just, look, man, you have to just get to it. You have to believe it can happen and it'll happen. It's not easy to go, door knocking in 100-degree weather. Yeah. It's not easy to talk to people, whether it's face-to-face or digitally, if you haven't done it before. It's a matter of doing it because the first time you do it, it's probably going to be a little difficult, maybe a little uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. The second time you do it, it's going to be a little easier.
And honestly, this is recognizing, too, we call this real estate investing, and it is. And, of course, that's the basis. That's the vehicle. That's the train that we're on to take us to our financial freedoms, right?
Yeah.
But the reality of it is we're in the marketing business. And I see people on the internet who are fantastic at marketing. They don't know that much about real estate.
Yeah.
But they make a lot of money buying and selling houses.
Yeah.
And why? Because they're good at marketing. So I would say to anybody listening or watching and hearing us that spend as much time on your marketing and understanding the marketing as you do on the real estate techniques and ideas and strategies and alternatives and methods. All of that is important when you're talking about real estate, of course. But of primary importance is marketing.
Yeah. I mean, you got to get there. And then everything else kind of, works its way out. You, of course, have to pay attention to it, figure out the process that works for you, have the right pieces, the right players in play. Having that great attorney is important as well. Some people just go out there and just get whatever attorney. I assure you, you want to stay away from the firm of Dewey, Screw 'em and Howe. You really have to focus on all of these things because your attorneys are going to really tell you if they're good, if they're decent. They're going to tell you can do this or you can't do that.
Right.
And they're not going to let you get into a bad situation because it's a reflection on them because they would be the lawyer.
With a caveat there's some attorneys out there that really don't understand investors.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, well, this is not, you can't do that, or that's legal or illegal or not legal or whatever. And most of the time they're wrong.
Yeah.
Just frankly.
I mean, you do run into a lot of it. So it's important, again, to know the players. And you know the players by communicating with other players.
Yeah.
Hey, this attorney or this firm or these firms do these kinds of dealings. This is who you want to deal with because they'll walk you through the right way to do it. They just will. I mean, we've been to attorneys, to firms where that were recommended maybe by agents we were dealing with. I remember one in particular. I mean, we would never go back to that attorney again, not because they were horrible, but because they were only good at what they did,
right?
Not what we did, you know.
Sure.
So it wasn't a fit for us, period.
Yeah.
You know, and for guys like us, you know, we are two wild and crazy guys. You know, we need to have some kind of interaction and understand what's going on, and sometimes even direction.
Of course.
You know, so that's just how that goes.
And it's about the marketing. It always is about the marketing. You know, that's why VHS tapes won out over beta tapes. Something about the marketing there, I guess. I mean, otherwise, I mean, why wouldn't you want something smaller and better quality?
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to own inferior products?
Right.
You know, I mean, it is what it is.
So, what other marketing ideas can we share with our listening and watching audience in the last few minutes that we have here today?
Word of mouth is the best form of marketing one can ever have.
Mm.
And how do you do that? You know, you do it by doing good business, by being a communicator and staying active with your marketing efforts. You know, people will say, well, why do companies like Coca-Cola still market? Everybody knows what Coke is. Well, they have to. They're number one in the market. Everyone else pales in comparison to their ability to market and their ability to sell and their ability to be far-reaching around the world, you know. So number one is going to be number one because they are number one. Number two will have a small segment of that market, but doesn't mean that they're inferior either. I don't want to get too far into that, but word of mouth is what carries you. I mean, and I'm using McDonald's here. I mean, Coke as a.
That's a great
example. There we go. I did it. I said McDonald's. Right? Look that's marketing. Okay, that's marketing. It's word of mouth. I mean, how many times have you driven down the street with your kids or your grandkids and they see the Golden Arches and all the kids, McDonald's, we gotta go, and you feel compelled to take them, you know, because they've done such a great job with those kids, man.
A reporter said, "Well, why do you guys market every month, and why don't you just save that money 1 month or something?" They said, "Well, if we stop marketing for 3 months, the number 2 brand Pepsi-Cola would be number 1."
Yeah.
That's how powerful marketing is.
Bill Gates said, if I had $50 to spend on marketing, or if I had $50, I'd spend 49 of it on marketing.
He said that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's because he's got software that costs nothing to reproduce.
He's a marketer. I mean, he's a marketer. I mean, he's a marketer.
Well, he's also he's pretty good strategist when it comes to the legalities and getting an office system in every single computer on the planet.
I mean, he wanted to do that, but let's be clear here. I mean, we're talking about someone who changed the way everyone does everything. There was no groundwork laid. He had to lay it all. Can you imagine the legalities that he had to go through? You know, I mean, he was paving a new way, a new direction.
Yeah,
and it was marketing that did it, and it'll be marketing that does it for our listeners and everyone else that wants to be out there. Put your money where your mouth is. Right. Be who you say you are, and you'll be all right.
Yes, you will.
And I want to thank you. So go to YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, all that great stuff. Let us know what you think. We love you, and we will see you next week.